And Diana Dos Santos just returning from Young Matilda's duty, took the captain's armband in the third and final game against Thailand. Again, what a talent she is. Can she produce that this afternoon in front of Sydney's home fans? It'll be Brisbane who'll get us underway. And so we have football at Leichhardt Oval. Sydney FC hosting the Brisbane Roar. Both sides in desperate need of 3 points. They'll be searching for that elusive victory. Of course, the Roar started the season so well, but just in the last 6 weeks, really, it's coincided with that injury to Momo Hiyashi. They've found things difficult. Now Hiyashi back on the bench. A 2-week break for the international window, and green shoots are plenty. As both sides just feel each other out in these opening exchanges. Almost an interception there for Lainey Fryer. It is my pleasure to introduce Kath Cannoli to the coverage. A-League's legends. Kath, what do you make of this game in front of us today?
Look, we all know that Sydney FC don't have much to play for, but Brisbane Roar need to get 3 points here today to stay within the pack and keep their finals hopes alive.
Well, there's always pride to play for. They don't want to finish bottom, even though finals are all but mathematically out of the equation, really, for Sydney at this stage. They don't want to finish bottom. They want to try and get themselves particularly above the Western Sydney Wanderers, Kath. That'll be very, very important to them.
Absolutely. We all know, anyone that's been following the women's game, that Sydney FC and Brisbane Roar have always had a massive rivalry. It goes back to the summer series days more than 15, 20 years ago. The rivalry is always fierce, so both teams will be going out to get 3 points today, that's for sure.
The Roar trying to advance up this left-hand side. Instead, Sydney trying to launch a counter-attack of their own. Perhaps the starkest difference from these two sides is indicated by the fact that the Roar have scored 3 times as many goals as Sydney FC this season. Sydney have scored 13, which is the fewest in the league by 6. And the Roar have scored 36, which is among the best. So the Roar can make something happen. Kualamu poking it through to Fryer. Fryer, the overlapping run of Mario Lecker. His ball is defended away by Jordan Thompson, the American. Jordan Thompson, very calm, very composed at the back. She just does her job, the 26-year-old. Deborah Andela Hart wearing the captain's armband today in the absence of Tamika Yallop. Kath, it's great to see Lainey Fryer getting a few early touches on the ball after returning from international duty. Oh, there, Pringle, a little bit too much contact on Dos Santos.
You can already see both teams wanting to win those 50-50 battles. It's always a fierce rivalry between these two teams.
Hawkesby trying to put the pressure on. It's marshalled out well, though. Hawkesby, well, she's scored in consecutive games now, Mackenzie Hawkesby, playing as a centre forward. So she does know how to find the back of the net. It has worked to an extent, but then, of course, the two traditional centre forwards for Sydney FC on the bench today, Millie Farrow, who has battled with injuries throughout the season, and Shay Connors as well. So it is an interesting approach from Ante Juric, given the troubles that Sydney have had in front of goals this season.
Absolutely. If you speak back to, the the number of goals that Sydney FC has scored in comparison to Brisbane Roar, you can see that they have had a lot of troubles in that front third. And, you know, it probably is, as strikers, you know, Millie Farrow, Shay Connors, it's disappointing to see these two traditional strikers on the bench. But Ante Juric is trying to find different combinations that are working for him. And it's something that the team has actually struggled with this season.
Well, the Roar today looking to find new combinations of their own. Sydney FC advancing forward through Caspers. Andy Caspers claiming that there should be a corner. Not awarded though. Caspers returning from young Matilda's duty.
You can't see much in that. Caspers wasn't happy though.
If you ask a defender, they've never committed a foul. If you ask a striker, they've never missed a goal. It's always the defender getting in the way and causing corners.
Absolutely. And as a footballer, you're always calling everything, whether it's going your way or not.
And Brisbane being put under a little bit of pressure early here, just trying to play the ball out from the back. Lamu's done well there, and here's Lainey Fryer off and running, looking for support. Trying to play it around the corner to Kualamu. Holman not allowing her to get through. A fair bump there. Hawkesby. It's good work from Zara Kruger getting back in support, but now a potential opening. Dos Santos all the way back to Tori Tumeth. Dos Santos, nice turn. Hawkesby 1-2. Brisbane just getting themselves into a little bit of trouble here and allowing Sydney to pick the ball back up. Dos Santos out wide. Back to Dos Santos. Will turn inside and it's eventually cleared away by Della Harper. Abini will pick it up. Princess Abini. Not enough power on that shot. Abini again. Princess Abini into Hawkesby. Still Hawkesby. The onrushing Abby Lemon couldn't get there. They're just keeping the ball here. They're not putting their foot off the gas. Ball over the top into Abini. Sakani punches away. Before Abini could get there, you figure she only needed a touch on that, and that may well have been the opener.
Absolutely. What a strong take there from Sakani. She's come out with such passion and pride to push that ball away, and I thought it was going to be a bit of a scary one there, Taryn, at one stage.
Sakani coming off fantastic form against Western United as Kaylee Talon-Henniker striding forward there. Let's take a look at this opportunity again from Abini. Sakani, that's brave goalkeeping.
Beautiful ball in there by Holman, and Sakani, the way she's come out and punched that ball away, absolutely beautifully done.
Well, this is a dangerous free kick now for Sydney. It's almost a short corner here. Dos Santos will be the player to take. Plenty of options in the middle. Taken to the edge of the area. The shot back in. Pringle trying to clear it, and Lainey Fryer is the one who gets there. Eventually clears it away for a corner.
You can see here a rehearsed set piece here from Sydney FC. But sometimes you have to play to the conditions. You can see the wind is blowing fiercely here.
Corner in. Dangerous again. Brisbane just can't clear their lines at the moment. And eventually it does come out to Kruger. Of course, an inexperienced defence there for the Roar. They've got 16-year-old Isabella Hoyos, who missed out on young Matilda's duty due to an ankle injury that she actually picked up against Western United. Great to see her starting because it looks like that one may have been serious. Kualamu, great touch. Grace Kualamu creating something here for Brisbane, and it's seen out of play by Jordan Thompson. Well, Kualamu, another young Matilda there, nearly making something happen after a period of sustained Sydney pressure.
Yeah, she just gets herself between players. She's hungry to get on the ball, and just a bit off balance there when she's taking that strike. She's just got to get herself composed, bring it back down, and maybe take that defender on 1v1. But she's such a passionate striker. She's got such great attributes.
Sydney FC in the midfield battle at the moment. Sikani alert to the danger there. Had to be. Kaylee Talon-Henniker scoring 3 goals for the under-20s in the recent Pacific Oz Four Nations tournament. Does know how to find the back of the net. He's in goal-scoring form, and that's an errant back pass there. Sydney FC still fighting. This is very, very unconvincing in defence for Brisbane at the moment. But they're managing to hold on, and that's all that matters. Pringle can't find a release pass. So that inexperience at the back for the Raw. Obviously, Hoyos, only 16 years of age, has looked good in her starts so far, but still very, very young. And then one of the players alongside her, the debutant, Amali Kinsella, only 19 years of age. This is something Sydney will be hoping to exploit. Of course, up the other end, you'd imagine that Brisbane will be hoping to press and exploit any weaknesses that Sydney might have playing out from the back as well.
Absolutely, and you've got to take the conditions into consideration as well. You can see the wind is blowing there, and Brisbane Roar are going against the wind, so sometimes your pass and your weight of the pass has got to be a little bit different to when you're going with the wind. So they're things that the players have got to start to adjust whilst they're on the field. So especially when you're playing up from the back, Sakani's got to be very, very careful in those situations.
It does look like Lenny Fry is playing at the point of the attack for the most part for Brisbane, although as I say that, she then drops back into midfield into the 10 role that she's more often playing. Sydney FC winning themselves another corner in the meantime.
What a few months Lainey Fry has had. She's just come back from the She Believes Cup, and I'm pretty sure the Matildas that have come back to Australia landed yesterday at 6 a.m. So to be on that pitch today just shows.
Corner in. Eka, now McQueen able to hoof it away.
It just shows what it means to Lainey Fryer to be playing for the Brisbane Roar, and this is where it all started for her, and to get the opportunity to go away with the Matildas to the She Believes Cup is a great opportunity for her.
It's a wonderful acknowledgement of the talent in the Ninja A-League that we get to see every week, that we get to see emerge every week. There are so many young players on this pitch. Lovely turn from Hawkesby, this strike! And Sydney FC open this scoring. Mackenzie Hawkesby for the 3rd game in a row gets herself on the score sheet. A wonderful strike, and in front of their home fans, they break the deadlock.
What a strike by Hawkesby. That's the reason why Ante Juric has put her there, because she does know where the goal is. But what a ball from Shea Holman. The way she just splits that Brisbane Roar defence, the half turn here from Mackenzie Hawkesby, and the clinical finish, absolute class from Hawkesby.
That is a stunning goal from Hawkesby. Sydney FC have been by far the better side in these opening exchanges. They have more than deserved that goal. That is a wonderful assist, a wonderful goal. And Brisbane Roar with plenty to think about. Because it has been finding the back of the net that's been Sydney's issue this season. And they've done so early here. And it's good early signs.
Absolutely. It gives Sydney FC the confidence. They haven't had a great season, but to go 1-0 up in this game at home at Leichhardt.
Alex Smith spoke throughout the week about how the international break was time to give his side a refresh. Sydney FC, though, with the team looking refreshed and raring to go. Perhaps it was they that just needed that refresh. Caspers, Lemon, Holman. Thought about another defence-splitting pass and instead opted to take the less risky option in possession. Talon Henniker. Trying to advance down that right-hand side. This time she's stopped by Tish Woods. Hawkesby again thought about shooting instead. Into Caspers, Dos Santos. Indiana Dos Santos! It's deflected! Abini couldn't put it past Sakani. It just came to her a little bit too quickly. But Sydney on the attack here again. Caspers into Hawkesby, and Kruger eventually takes it away. Eka clears.
This is some beautiful play here from Sydney FC. They're being patient with their build-up, but taking their chances when it's needed. And Dos Santos, giving her that time and space in and around the box, there's nothing else that she's going to do other than take that strike.
Indiana Dos Santos, only 17 years of age. She showed glimpses in that first season and then just needed time to adjust, to get more experience under her belt, but we've really seen this season in what has been a difficult season for Sydney what an impressive player she already is and the player she could be.
She sure is, and you can see every time she does pick up the ball, the way that she actually uses her body to protect the ball. It's such a great attribute to have, and she does it so well. And it's so great to see her growing in this A-Leagues as well. She's playing more minutes. She's become more of a leader. I know she took on more of a leadership role, being away with the young Matildas last week as well. So it's just fantastic to see these young talents being grown here in our A-Leagues.
Dos Santos' delivery. It's bending towards Sakani, who spills it. Can Sydney get it over the line? They're not able to, and eventually the foul goes the way of Brisbane. Players just getting in their own way here, and this is not good because Sakani is clutching at the knee. And this could be something quite serious here for Sakani.
It looks like she's landed quite hard on this knee.
Well, cause for a stretcher already. You just hate to see that in this competition.
This will be a massive loss to Brisbane Roar if they lose Sakani. But you can just see the pain that she's gone through, what's on her face.
Well, Sakani, she's on loan from Racing Louisville in the NWSL, so she only had a couple of weeks before she would have had to return to the US. It wasn't confirmed when that was. Let's just hope that this isn't as bad as it looks and that she is able to make that return. And this is the incident and how it happened here, and that leg just collapsing underneath her is not a good sign at all.
No, it's not. And you can see there when the ball's actually being whipped in, she actually takes a few steps back, and she must have misjudged the flight of the ball, and then she's come back forward again. And it's just unfortunate the way that she's fallen here on her knee, and it doesn't look good for Brisbane Roar or for Sakani.
Yeah, it's pretty gut-wrenching scenes at the moment, but Keely Richards, 30 years of age, she'll be coming on to make her first appearance of the season, her fourth for the Brisbane Roar. She is from Queensland originally, but spent a number of seasons at Canberra United. She was the first choice keeper before Chloe Lincoln, in fact, the newest Matildas keeper. And it was an injury in that season a few seasons ago that opened the door for Lincoln to begin getting game time in the A-League Women's. Eventually, Richards moved back home to Brisbane. And Now she is in line to make her 4th appearance for the club. So has A-League women's pedigree, does Richards. A good keeper in her own right.
She sure is, and as a goalkeeper, when you're sitting on the bench, never think to be put on at this point in the game, but you've got to be ready, you've got to be ready to go, and I'm sure she's the professional that she is, especially at 30 years old. She's had plenty of experience. She's been around the game for a long time, and you can see here she looks super relaxed and not scared or worried at all, and just waiting to get her chance to get in between the sticks today.
Well, Richard, she would have known that she was in line to play at least a few games this season, so she'd be prepared, she'd be match fit. Unfortunately, Sakani's still in a bit of pain, and they'll give her all of the time that she needs. The doctors there, the physio there, the referee not in any rush to hurry her on here.
We know it's never good when you see the blue whistle come out, Taryn. That's not a good sign. And it just adds to Brisbane Roar's injury woes that they have within this squad.
What kind of effect does this have on the rest of the team when you see a player go down like that? You see your teammate, your friend. What kind of impact does that have on you for the rest of the game?
I think it can go both ways, right? You can either lift up and you want to play for Sakani, or emotionally you're thinking about what's going on, where the problem was, and you know, you're sad for your teammate. But I think all these players now are professional enough to be able to move on and trying to play out the rest of this game. But it's always going to be in the back of their heads, and it's not something that you want to see any of your teammates or anyone from the opposition team go through something like this. But Brisbane Roar have got to regroup here. They're 1-0 down. They can't let this filter in, and they need to really stick together and get through this, at least this first half, and get into the sheds and then regroup again.
So the stretcher out for Sakani has been a significant delay, but again in no rush. Although she is to her feet, that's fantastic news. She is still in a bit of pain, but she'll try and limp off here. The American trying to walk off as best she can as Richards gets ready to come on. We really do wish her all the best. Can only hope among hope that it is not what it looks like. And she will unfortunately have to be stretchered off here.
It is unfortunate for Sakani to be stretchered off and to finish her season like this, because I think she's been great for the Brisbane Roar. I think the last few weeks she's really been a key part of this Brisbane Roar team. She's been fantastic.
Great to hear the crowd in Sydney getting around Sakani, her teammates getting around her as well. So Keely Richards, a big job to do here for the Queenslander. Making her 25th Ninja A-League appearance today. She would have hoped that her first appearance would have come later in the season. But she has come onto the pitch today. She's would have known that at any point she may be required. That is the role of the reserve goalkeeper. You always know that you might have to come on the pitch at any moment. She'll be ready for the job today. So Brisbane, they're still in search of this equaliser after that early Mackenzie Hawkesby goal. They have had moments of attack, but really this game so far has been a story of Sydney FC dominance.
It sure has, and they've started this game strong. You could see in the 50-50 battles at the start that you could see that they were up for this game. They want to get something out of it. Again, we talk about the rivalry between these two teams. It's been going on for many, many years, and no one wants to lose this game. And we know how important it is to Brisbane Roar, but we also know that with the season that Sydney FC has had, that they still want to be able to win games and finish off this season strong.
Here's a corner for the Roar. Laney Fryer putting it in. It was cleared away by Tobin the first time. An inventive flick by Kualama, but Beth Mason-Jones able to come and claim. Mason-Jones playing her third game for Sydney FC today. The 27-year-old was signed mid-season and has since taken over the #1 role with the Gloves. Saved a penalty in game 1. So, got a pretty successful introduction so far after her fantastic season in the NPL Victoria for Essendon Royals in 2024. Kruger trying to play the return ball to Fryer, but only ending up at the feet of Lemon. Pringle. Nice ball in from Eka, and Kualamu brought to ground. Eventually, the referee will stop play. Looked to be a clear foul at first glance.
Definitely looked to me to be a foul as well, and I think the referee's only caught it here because she's actually just fallen on the back of her head, and there was definitely a clear foul there. You can see here, Holman's in her back, falls on top of her, and definitely a clear foul there.
Well, play continues, then it's Sydney FC in possession. Abini. Woods able to poke it out of play. Appeals for a foul as Tobin came flying in. They weren't heated either. Roar feeling a little bit hard done by here in these last few moments. Eka. Myra Eka striding into the space offered. Back to Pringle. Pringle with options in the middle. Back to Eka. Myra Eka. Again, just shepherded wide. That's good work from Sydney. And taken out of play by Lemon. Well, Kath, you said that the Roar were denied a clear foul, and Alex Smith seems to agree based on his mannerisms there.
Absolutely. As coaches, we're always calling everything. We want to try and grab anything we can get, and you can see a little bit of frustrations there on Alex Smith's demeanour. He knows how important this game is. This team really needs his 3 points, and they're missing a key piece to their puzzle with Tamika Yallop not playing today. She's been a key part of this team. She's a leader on and off the pitch, and she's been great for the Brisbane Roar this season.
A 1 win in 6 for the Roar. That all started with the loss to Melbourne City, which, understandable, Melbourne City still undefeated. And then against Adelaide, the injury to Momo Hiyashi. They just haven't looked the same since.
I think losing Hayashi and also losing Sian Fryer as well, they're two key players that have been instrumental for the Brisbane Roar, and that's really hurt them. But I thought in the start of the season they were playing some really, really good football, and they're one of those teams that, you know, you were excited to watch week in, week out. But when you're losing key players like Momo Hayashi and Sian Fryer, it starts to really play with the setup of the team, which it's two players that are instrumental to this team and the way that Alex Smith wants to play.
Lemon not able to keep the ball in that time, so Brisbane will have a little bit of a reprieve in possession. Well, the bad news is for Sydney that, as it stands, they're still on the bottom of the table because the Jets picked up that victory as well. So even 3 points today wouldn't be enough to see them off the bottom, but it would be a good swing of momentum that they can carry with them for the remainder of the season.
Nobody wants to finish last. Nobody wants that wooden spoon in any competition that you play in. So I'm sure there's some sort of fighting spirit still there in the team. And when you look at this team on paper, they still have an absolute quality team. So many key players in this team. Princess Sabini, Mackenzie Hawkesby, Tori Tumeth, Natalie Tobin. Still a lot of players that has played many years in the A-Leagues.
Absolutely, and some of the best young talent in the country as well. 6 call-ups to the young Matildas. Abalukmaya ended up having to pull out at the last moment due to injury. She was available for this game though, just not selected. So you can combine some of that young talent with the likes of Hawkesby, who scored the goal today. Nat Tobin, their captain. It is still a very strong team on paper.
It sure is, and Nat Tobin, she's such a great player and a great leader for this team, and she's been key to bring her back and keep this team together. But I think for Ante Juric and Sydney FC, there's been a couple of key.
Dos Santos, strike blocked away, and Keely Richards will come and collect.
You don't want to give Dos Santos any time and space there in and around the box. You can see whatever time she gets, she'll look to take that strike.
Laney Friars leaving the ball behind. Fryer, of course, 7 goals in her 11 appearances so far in this competition, and quite astonishingly scored those consecutive hat-tricks. The first player to ever do that in the Ninja A-League. An incredible introduction. That was her first 2 starts as well. And since then, again, much like the Raw's form, her form hasn't quite lived up to that same standard, but she's still so early in her professional career. This is her first season in this competition in professional football, and she's already a Matilda.
How crazy, and she's overcome the ACL injury as well, and she's come into the A-Leagues. She's had so much success. She's scored the hat-tricks. She's been caught up to the Matildas. Honestly, it's like wake me up from that dream for Laney Fryer.
I don't think she wants to be woken up, Kath. I think she would be quite enjoying it.
Absolutely, she would be. But I think it would be a bit of a bittersweet moment being caught up, but also not having her sister there alongside her. What a story that would have been if Shan was also part of the Matildas squad and not out with injury. But nevertheless, it's fantastic to see the young talent that's coming through these A-Leagues being caught up and getting this opportunity on the international stage.
Pringle, brought to ground by Lemon. Ball won cleanly. Take a look at that again. That looks like a fair challenge that time.
It sure was. Lemon's come in, won the ball.
And Abby Lemon, the 22-year-old, was a part of the Under-20 World Cup in 2022 after playing a season in Spain in 2020-21. So she arrived back in Australia, played for Sydney FC starting from the 2022 season. Has scored 1 goal in the competition. She scored it against Western United last season. And she's another one of these young talents for Sydney. She's been converted into a fullback this season, though.
Hawkesby's not happy with that one. Bit of a tug of the shirt there, trying to win possession back, but you've got to love that competitive edge that Mackenzie Hawkesby brings. Every time she takes the pitch, she's just a winner, and that's something that you can't instill in players. They either have it or they don't, and that's something that Mackenzie Hawkesby definitely brings to this Sydney FC team.
Now that's how much it means to Mackenzie Hawkesby. That's a lovely touch from Talon Henniker, who's driving into the penalty area, but how about that work from Kinsella, the debutant, to ensure that that attack didn't go any further.
It's a great running race there, as we know that Kinsella was a Queensland sprinter, and we know that Talon Henniker is definitely not short of being able to sprint quite fast as well. So it's a bit of a running race there, but it was great to see those two youngsters go for it.
Dos Santos' delivery. Met by a Sydney head, but out of play, so Keely Richards will go back to collect.
What a moment it is here for Emily Kinsella. She's been a trainer with the Brisbane Roar for the last couple of years, and to get this opportunity to be able to step in and start in a massive match here for the Brisbane Roar, it's just a huge moment for her.
We've seen her get up and down that left flank throughout the game, so showing off some attacking qualities as well. She's been in the penalty area a couple of times. Imagine the scenes if she was the player who could help the Roar equalise. We've seen it in the league this season. For Perth Glory, of course, Caitlin Douglas came in as an injury replacement player, scoring on her first start, the first game she was available after she signed. Maybe some inspiration for Emily Kinsella, mind you. Douglas, very different situation. She is a striker and so on, but it can happen.
It sure can. Anything can happen in the A-Leagues. This is where the magic happens, Taryn.
Best league in the world, Kath.
Absolutely.
Here she is with the throw. Kinsella. And pass intercepted. So Sydney FC generally this season have been a team that have liked to have less of the ball. They've liked to play direct football. And Brisbane Roar traditionally this season have been a team that have liked to keep the ball a bit more and be a bit more patient, create openings, not quite to the extent of a Melbourne City, but along similar lines. But at the moment in this game, it's been Sydney who have been very, very comfortable on the ball.
I think Sydney FC has had a bit more momentum in this game, let's say that, and I think with getting that goal early, I think that helps with confidence as well. And you can see Mackenzie Hawkesby, you can see when the midfield pick up the ball, you can see Mackenzie Hawkesby always looking to break those lines and pick up the ball and face forward as well. And it's just been a little bit rough for Brisbane Roar. They've struggled to find that little bit of momentum. And again, I talk about Tamiki Yallop. She's a key part of that midfield and the way that Brisbane Roar play and build up from the back especially.
Beanie. Over the top of Hoyos. It's missed though by McQueen, and a Beanie with an opportunity to double their lead isn't able to get past the substitute goalkeeper Richards. Still on though for Sydney. Casper's the footwork. The clearance off Dos Santos. And Brisbane managed to scramble it away. What a save from Keely Richards.
Massive save there, but a massive missed opportunity for Princess Beanie as well. You can see here, Beanie just uses her body well. She rolls Hoyos, and then the big swing there didn't make connection, and massive missed opportunity there by Beanie, but a fantastic save by Keely Richards.
Of course, Richards, a first-half substitute after a serious-looking injury to Olivia Sikani earlier in the half. So she's come on not expecting to play today necessarily, and is already making saves like that. What could Beanie have done differently there? Seeing the keeper running out, could she have taken maybe an extra touch or something of that nature? Is Sydney coming forward again? That shot blocked away.
I think there she looked to really smash the ball into the back of the net, where really sometimes you can see when the goalkeeper makes themselves big, they try to, you know, protect the goal there. It's like trying to slot it either left or right just to try and keep it low on the ground. And you can see here another massive tackle here from Shea Holman. She's working really hard in the middle of defence today.
Well, she got the assist for the goal, and now she's just making a nuisance of herself in midfield as well, which is what you love to see from your midfielders.
Especially those defensive midfielders as well. You're part of the build-up. You want to be breaking lines, but you also need to make those big tackles and got to be working hard as sort of a cleaner that works when they do break your lines, that you're going there, winning those tackles and breaking down that play.
Well, Holman, of course, the younger sister of the Holman dynasty in the A-Leagues, brother Jake MacArthur and Corey at Sydney FC. Holman herself nearing that 50-game mark. This is her 47th, only 19 years of age. Ball in behind for Hawkesby. Whistle goes, offside flag was raised. Hawkesby indicating something with her arms to the assistant referee.
You could see it was a great run by Hawkesby, but she doesn't look across her line there. She doesn't realise that she's just a touch offside there, but it was a great forward run. It was just Abini just took a little bit longer just to release her, but a great run there by Mackenzie Hawkesby.
Is that maybe the difference? Oh, I'll hold that thought, because Sydney FC have intercepted once again high up the pitch. Talon Henneke won't get there ahead of Kinsella. The timing of that run there for Hawkesby, is that maybe the difference between someone who's a traditional centre forward, has done it their whole career, compared to Hawkesby, who's a number 10 really. She's an attacking midfielder and maybe isn't used to sitting on the shoulder of the last defender like that.
For sure, she'd normally be coming from a little bit of a deeper position, where when you're that last player on the line, you need to see exactly the timing of that run. But you can already see that Mackenzie Hawkesby is trying to adapt her game to that traditional number 9 role, but she's also got the ability to come deep and pick up the ball and turn and face, which she does really, really well. But the timing of those runs, but then also when you're going with the wind as well, the way those balls get put in behind is very difficult.
Pringle puts on the afterburners. Emily Pringle trying to cut the ball back. It's defended away well. We've seen her do that throughout the season. The 23-year-old American, she's scored 2 goals as well against the Wellington Phoenix and the Western Sydney Wanderers. Both of them very similar. Kualamu will win her side a corner. Pringle's ability to really put on the afterburners, to beat players on the dribble, it's a real asset for the Raw. Kualamu not to be upstage, showing off her straight line speed immediately after. Corner taken short. Woods, delivery. It's come all the way out to Kualamu. Deflected away for another corner. That was clever there from the Raw.
It was a great little short corner, the outswinger there, and it was put into a really dangerous area. Just no one really attacked that ball. We've seen plenty of goals scored from corners this season.
Fryer's delivery. Mason Jones, safe hands. We certainly have Sydney FC, one of the few teams who have not actually scored from a corner, but the Raw certainly have. In fact, the Raw have the most headed goals in the competition with 8. Sydney, 0. So that's another big difference between the two sides heading into this game. But again, the form line and the stats that we've seen heading into this game aren't really reflective of what we're seeing on the pitch, which is, for the most part, and despite a few glimpses like that run from Pringle, like that run from Kualamu, has been all Sydney. Beanie trying to play it back to Lemon. Sydney win it back. Holman. Clever touch from Shea Holman. Caspers. Switch play through Thompson. Hawkesby trying to get involved, as is Dos Santos. Eventually, it's just hooked clear. It's almost opposite stylistically of what you would expect, in the sense of Sydney are the comfortable team. There's Beanie looking to fashion something else here. Still Princess Beanie being allowed to run and then goes to ground. No foul that time. As the fourth official indicates, 8 minutes of stoppage time, a large portion of that for that injury to Sakani. But it seems to be the Roar who are the team that are looking likely in transition, and Sydney the team controlling possession and controlling the play, which is not what you would expect.
They sure are. They're doing really well in the way they are controlling possession. They're being very patient on the ball as well and really picking their moments. We've seen a couple of times there where Shea Holman can look to really slot that pass and go forward, but she's opted to keep the ball and keep that patience within the whole team, which is great to see. And
Woods, Fryer. Lainey Fryer trying to play it back into Woods and perhaps should have shot herself there.
I think it's a bit of decision-making there, in two minds whether to shoot or pass the ball back. Sometimes, you know, you get the ball for the 1-2, but it's not on. And Lainey Fryer from that distance there, and I think she normally has the ability to be able to let it rip from that distance as well.
She's scored a number of her goals this season from that exact range. Woods through to Lainey Fryer. Will she shoot this time? It's deflected between Holman and Tobin. Does come back out to the Roar. Della Harp looking for Kualamu. Kualamu did meet the header, but just safely into Beth Mason-Jones, who's happy to take a few seconds to take stock of the situation. Casper's ball in behind Hawkesby. Mackenzie Hawkesby! And it's cleared off the line by Holly McQueen. Richards got the crucial touch, which allowed McQueen time to get back and clear it away. Very nearly a second for Sydney and a second for Hawkesby.
Some great movement there by Sydney FC. The switch of play, the forward run by Caspers, and then the running behind there from Hawkesby.
Henniker.
You can see here, great ball in here from Caspers. Great run from Hawkesby, and the way she's gone for that clinical finish there was just unfortunate. But some great play there from Sydney FC.
McQueen was playing with fire there with that first touch as well. Surely you just try and boot it away at the first touch. Here's the corner from Sydney. Richards comes and claims comfortably.
Great take there from Richards, comfortable.
She certainly hasn't looked out of place, Keely Richards, since coming on. Made that fantastic save to prevent Abini from scoring, and then got a touch on the one that McQueen was able to clear away.
She sure hasn't. She's come on full of confidence. You could see when they were waiting to make the substitution, she was very relaxed and ready to go, and that's what you want from your goalkeeper that's sitting on the bench, that's always ready, because you never know what can happen in a football match.
Here's this for Keely Richards. She's not only a talented goalkeeper, she's also a Lego master. In her time at Canberra United, she made a Lego replica of Viking Park, which was Canberra's home ground at the time. So multi-talented as well, and maybe doing things like that can help her relax and help with her demeanour on the pitch as well.
Unbelievable. That's definitely a skill set that I don't have. She can come over and play Lego with my sons anytime she likes, because I don't have the patience for Lego, that's for sure.
So many small pieces. The Roar Just over 4 minutes of this first half remaining to potentially fashion something. They'd love an equaliser before the break. Bit of an argument here over whose throw it was. Necker and Thompson going at it.
I love it. Love those little battles.
Marieleka, the Brazilian, she is not the kind of player to back down.
She sure isn't. And you can see her personality, the way when she does get on the ball, the passion and the pride that she plays with. You always need a couple of those players on your team.
Kruger. Laney Fryer will look to release Pringle. That was a big ask though for Emily Pringle, but Brisbane do win the throw in an advantageous area. Here she is now with the throw. Touched back by Kualamu, Kruger. Kualamu will touch it out of play. And 5 goals this season for Grace Kualamu, 6 in total. She did after her ACL in training last season. Necker's ball over the top looking for Kualamu, can't find her. So Kualamu played 2 games last season, scored a goal in her first, and then missed the rest of the season. Came back this time out, still only 17 years of age, and has had a roaring season so far with those 5 goals. She's looked pretty good today for Brisbane.
She has, and it's great to see her back for the Brisbane Roar and being so young and overcoming a massive injury like the ACL. And it's just a credit to her and all the girls that are returning from ACL injuries. It's not an easy thing to come back from, but to see her back in this Brisbane Roar team and scoring goals and being back to herself is great to see.
Woods on the break here, playing it through to Kualamu. Grace Kualamu couldn't get the touch. Brave goalkeeping from Beth Mason-Jones to come out there and secure the ball.
Kualamu's done great here. She's battled hard to try and get something on that ball, but Mason-Jones has come out.
Beanie. Ball played through to Talon Henniker. And a great challenge in the penalty area by Hoyos to prevent Talon Henniker from bearing down on goal there. Mackenzie Hawkesby enjoyed that run.
She just loves running altogether.
So the 8 minutes of stoppage time has elapsed now. And indeed, that is half-time here at Leichhardt Oval. Mackenzie Hawkesby's goal separates the two sides. And in truth, Sydney FC more than deserve their lead. They've been the dominant team, really, in the first 45 minutes. The Roar with plenty to think about at half-time. Half-time in Sydney. It's Sydney FC 1, Brisbane Roar 0. So let's take a look now at the highlights from the first half. And Sydney FC started on the front foot.
They sure did, and a fantastic pass here from Shea Holman, and what a finish there by Mackenzie Hawkesby. You can see what it means to her, and Sydney FC definitely were the team that started stronger. They're keeping possession. The way Holman finds Mackenzie Hawkesby here on the half turn, and what a strike it was.
Well, 3 goals in a row now for Hawkesby. Indiana Dos Santos made herself busy. Abini just wasn't quite able to steer that one on goal.
She sure does, and she knows that she's got time and space here. She sets herself up for the strike. Being just not in a great position. Another great ball in here, where we've seen the unfortunate injury to Sakani. But Sydney FC definitely the dominant team this half.
It's bending towards Sakani, who spills it. Can Sydney get it over the line? They're not able to, and eventually unfortunate there for Sakani. She had to leave the field of play, was replaced by Keely Richards, but again, Sydney FC kept coming.
They sure did, and you can see there, Princess Sabini does well to use her body, gets in a great area, but Keely Richards makes herself big and a fantastic save there.
Brisbane did have some chances of their own. This was one of their best from a corner.
They sure did. They went for the short corner here, whipped it in, the outswinger into a dangerous area. Not really anybody attacking the ball, but you can see at that back post just trying to get something on it. But Sydney FC here again at the other end. Great ball in here for Mackenzie Hawkesby. It was unfortunate not to make it 2-0.
Had to be cleared off the line by Holly McQueen after a touch from Keely Richards, who has certainly been involved in the game since being subbed on. So here is the tale of the first half. Sydney FC with the majority of possession. Kath, what does that tell you about the game?
I think you can see that Sydney FC are definitely controlling this game, and you can see that they are being a lot more clinical in their build-up and in that front third area. Brisbane Roar are really struggling to find those combinations, especially once they get into that front third. But at a 1-0 scoreline, Taryn, this game can go either way.
Well, certainly this game can still go either way, Kath. So make sure you don't go anywhere for the second half. The big news out of the Ninja A-League this week came from Western United, with Carly Johnson signing with Calgary Wild, the Canadian franchise, ahead of the inaugural Northern Super League competition. And there she is, receiving her flowers and a presentation from her team held after their match against Melbourne Victory, her final game for Western United. Let's take a look at the highlights from Carly's final match with Western United as they played host to crosstown rivals Melbourne City.
Here's Chidiac. Pokes it out to Gilnick. Gilnick eyes up, centering ball is a good one as well. Grove at the far post almost steers it in for an own goal. Forces Alyssa Daloste into a save. Victory corner. Chevsky's delivery, the outswinger off the left boot, and it falls to everyone. Furphy has time to line it up to pick a spot. And there it is, the opening goal of the afternoon, and Holly Furphy. What a moment she is having in victory colours. The second goal of the season, and she gets scoring underway in the opening 10 minutes. Given away loosely to Chloe Lagazo, who can wind up and take a strike. Stings off the palms of Courtney Newbon. Sharp throw from Lagazo to the feet of Johnson. Johnson again will try her luck as a swirling shot. Finding as well. And as Victory look to play out again, once more it's just picked up, and Johnson can turn and shoot on sight. Great hands, Courtney Newbon. Taranto's corner. High and long into the far post. Ricochets off the leg and bundles into the back of the net. Western United, there's a response. It wasn't dealt with by the Melbourne Victory defence. And in just the flushes of half-time, Western United have found an equaliser off the back of the good work from Adriana Taranto's corner. Janchevsky wonders if she can add another to that tally, and indeed she can. And who else but Captain Kayla Morrison on the spot. She regains the lead for her side. It's a brilliant corner, a well-taken header. It's given away, and here's Nikki Flannery, who dinks it in to find Emily Gilnick. Alert to the danger is Dalaste, and on the second time of asking, the shot comes driving through, and Claudia Miocic with a goal line save. Congested. A bit further this time, but not a bad delivery again by Grace Ma. Strong punch came through from Newbon. Western United will load up again, coolly done by Grace Ma. Quite the technician. Her delivery just skips past Lagazo and Taranto alike.
Get it! Get it! Get it! Get it! Emily!
That was definitely a really big win for us in terms of where we're sitting on the ladder. Yeah, in summary, I would just say that wasn't our best game that we've ever played, but to get the 3 points was really important. Like you guys said, we definitely did miss Murph in there just to kind of slow things down. In saying that, I thought Chids did a great job, probably one of the most attacking people on our team, but she was able to just listen, sit in that spot, and I think she did a really good job. But it'll be great to have everyone back and fully rested. I think I have to give a shout out to Bun. She got off, I think, a 17-hour flight yesterday and just slept and then came and played today, so I think that was pretty incredible because it definitely didn't look like that from her performance. Yeah, like I said, I think we'll be a little bit disappointed as a team with the performance, just in how we were on the ball, but I think we grinded it out, and that has, you know, something to say for us as a team as well.
It's your third goal of the season. Can you talk to us a little bit about what's going through your mind when you get up for corners and set pieces and the like?
I am just thinking, see ball, get ball, put it in the net. That is all I'm thinking. Go to that ball and head it in. And if anyone's ever played at Western United, they know there's 100km/h winds. But the wind worked in my favor, and the ball just rocketed off my forehead. So it was a great corner from Alana. And yeah, I'm happy I had a strong neck.
playing and travelling come hand in hand as a footballer in the Ninja A-League. Just ask Wellington Phoenix midfielder Maya McCutcheon, who hails from the USA and has some peculiar pre-game routines, as we discovered in this edition of Ninja Express.
I love pretzels. I will sit there and eat like a whole cup of pretzels before a game, and if it's pretty hot out, I'll probably make like an icy with the Powerade, splash some Red Bull in there, get me going. I would say I'm pretty athletic. I have a physical presence, and I just am kind of like the tempo player that gets people going. So I like to do that for the team and just push everyone to be the best version of themselves. It's pretty cool I get to do this, and I hope to, keep seeing more with the away teams and go to Australia and that kind of thing. So it's kind of cool living in a bucket list moment. I like to hang out with my friends. I would say we go to the sunset a lot. I really enjoy going to the beach and just like being in nature, because that's something that I don't get to do back home, and it's really pretty here. So yeah. I would say to not wait for the right moment. If you have a passion and a calling for something, to just do it scared, because I think sometimes we can put ourselves in a box and be timid to try things, but just going out and believing in yourself.
You can make it in Ninja. Barbecues are better with electric grills that sear and char like a gas grill. Plus, you can also barbecue smoke and air fry outdoors. Backyard patches are better with pizza ovens that give you crispy crust, high heat roasting, and barbecue smoking. No matter how you're spending your time outdoors, bring the indoors outdoors with Ninja.
From the start, first 20 seconds, Tori.
So live pictures of Leichhardt Oval as Sydney FC get us back underway in the second half. It is the home side Sydney currently leading by 1-0. Mackenzie Hawkesby was the player who scored the goal in the first half. No halftime substitutions for either side. Of course, the Raw forced to change their goalkeepers in the first half due to that injury to Olivia Sakani. She was replaced by Keely Richards. But after a first half largely dominated by Sydney FC, Kath Canuli, can they continue this into the second?
I think, as we know, Taryn, when you go into the halftime break, it gives everybody a little bit of time to settle, and the first 5 minutes will really show what team is up to try and win these 3 points today. But I think Sydney FC have been more of the dominant team, and to be 1-0 up at home, and after the season that they've been having, I think it's going to be really important that they keep this momentum coming into the second half.
And And for the Raw, of course, not only is it bragging rights against an old foe, an old rival on the line, not only is it an opportunity to gather some momentum for the end of their season, it's an opportunity for them to jump above Western United on the table. They're still battling it out for one of those top 6 places. Passes like that don't help. It's played into Indiana Dos Santos. Dos Santos not able to get the shot away. Caspers will come out with it. Princessa Beanie! Wonderful save from Keely Richards. That is stunning from the substitute goalkeeper.
What a save by Keely Richards. The way she reaches up with that one hand that comes across her body. Princess Abini would have thought 100% that ball was going to go into the back of the net. What a save there. Unbelievable.
Well, Richards showing all of her A-League women's experience. As there's a slight delay in play here as Tish Woods is slow to her feet. So Dos Santos here, Woods blocked the shot and copped the kick in the follow through, and then just what a save. That's tremendous.
Unbelievable save.
So Sydney FC with the early corner. It'll be taken short. Dos Santos puts it back in. Met with a Brisbane head, and the flag is up for offside. So thumbs up from Keely Richards, and Brisbane escapes some early pressure. McQueen, or confusion between her and Richards there. Perhaps in McQueen's defence, she felt like she was left with no choice.
Just a miscommunication there between the two players, and that's more so where the goalkeeper needs to be really dominant in their communication and calling for that ball and making it hers.
Conventional delivery this time, met by the head of Nat Sobin. And it'll be hooked away by Deborah Ann Della Harp. 11 shots to 2 for Sydney FC in these early stages, and that really does pass the eye test of what we've seen on the pitch. It's been, for the most part, all Sydney.
It sure has. Sydney's definitely been the most dominant team today, and here they give away this
interception
possession.
here, Lainey Fryer! Her 8th of the season! The newly minted Matilda caps off one of the greatest weeks of her life with a Brisbane Roar goal, and just like that, Brisbane are right back in it.
We know that Lainey Fryer definitely has this in her locker, but we know going against the wind here, but what a finish that was from Lainey Fryer. It definitely caps off a great couple of weeks that she's had. Fantastic finish.
Well, that came from nowhere.
It sure did, but we know the difficulty that Brisbane Roar had playing out from the back in the first half, and now Sydney FC is seeing the effects of it playing out from the back against that wind. You really need to focus on the weight of that pass.
And challenges for both sides. And maybe that is an example of why Sydney find themselves languishing at the bottom of the table. Even if they do get 3 points today, they'll still be at the bottom, because despite all the good work that they've done, how good that they've looked, Brisbane are level. Sydney FC have only scored twice in a game, once all season, twice all season in fact, once against Canberra United and then again against Adelaide. Are they going to be able to score twice again today? That is the question as Brisbane come forward again. Lainey Fryer, Zara Kruger, Pringle's delivery goes over the head of everyone, and now for a goal kick. Sydney FC trying to work it out from the back. Dos Santos picking up the ball. Hawkesby, Dos Santos. Maybe looking to regain the lead here. They've had so many chances. Keely Richards has been called into action on several occasions. Kulamu. Pringle. Suddenly, it's the Roar who have a bit of a spring in their step.
I think they got the bonus here of going with the wind, and that's been a little bit of a help for the Roar, especially when Sydney FC are looking to play out from the back. Those passes are just not sticking, and Brisbane Roar are being able to pick up possession of the ball and move it forward quickly.
Cove out in force again today for Sydney. Cheering their side on, hoping that they can regain the lead. Here come the Roar though. Woods. Chipped ball forward, trying to find Fryer. And McQueen's ball, far too much on it to find the run of the debutant Hamali Kinsella. Suddenly, the game is looking a bit more even, or in fact, a bit more in Brisbane's favour. This ball comes across to Lainey Fryer, the goal scorer. Emily Pringle. Pringle trying to put a ball in, but Sydney FC back in numbers. The defensive structure is good, Sydney. That hasn't really been their problem this season for the most part. Of course, the goal that they conceded today, that is an error playing out from the back end. Things like that, when you're struggling to score, prove extra costly. Hawkesby. Was trying to release Talon Henniker, couldn't do so.
You can hear the instructions there from Alex Smith on the side, instructing his players to go forward, play the ball forward.
And that is what a coach like Alex Smith always wants, is forward thinking, wants to see his teams on the ball rather than playing directly. Good challenge from McQueen, getting there ahead of Hawkesby. Well, eventually the foul awarded against her for Sydney.
You can see here McQueen, she just falls on the ball and just sort of sits over it.
She can't believe it. Essentially the foul because she wasn't getting out of the way of the ball, although I'm not sure she really could.
She didn't really have a choice other than to be on top of the ball there.
Well, Sydney FC with a set piece opportunity. Dos Santos once again standing over it, the 17-year-old. Header wide. Sydney FC coming close to a second. Holly Caspers Maddie Caspers, rather, not her sister, who has scored for the Wanderers.
It was a great ball in, and Maddie Caspers loses a marker there and finds herself some space to get a header on it, just doesn't make that right connection.
Free as a bird in the box there, Maddie Caspers. Beanie. Dos Santos. Hawksby. Talon Henniker's ball in. Well, inventive from Caspers that time. Not able to put it in the back of her, into the back of the net.
You can see what Talon Henniker was trying to do, just play that ball forward. And Casper's a little bit optimistic there, but got to give it to the youngster.
Hawksby brought to ground there. That is a foul. Clumsy there from the youngster Isabella Hoyos, and a yellow card produced.
Hoyos has just come in here with the shoulder. I don't think there was any malice in it, but the timing and the shoulder, the way she's made that connection with Hawksby.
Just mistimed that one there, Hoyos. So an opportunity from a direct free kick. Sydney FC have not scored a goal from a free kick so far this season. Could this be the first? Diana Dos Santos, the player tasked with standing over this one. Dos Santos strikes. And Richards, well, unconvincingly, claims in the end.
You can see Dos Santos backs herself from that area, but you need to put a bit more power behind those strikes if you want to beat goalkeepers from that distance.
As a coach, you want your players shooting when you get free kicks in those sorts of areas.
Absolutely, and you have your specialists that you'll see after training that will take multiple free kicks and stay back, and that's what they specialise in doing. And it's not always the perfect connection, but you can see from that distance, and what also players are going to take into effect as well is that they're going against the wind as well, so you've got to put a little bit more on the back of those strikes.
There's Mali Kinsella there, the player chasing that ball down. She'll take the throw now on debut. Of course, a short-term injury replacement signing found out this week. She has been training with the Raw throughout the season, a QAS product.
You can see here Brisbane Raw working really hard to put the Sydney FC players under pressure, the way they're pressing collectively as a team to try and win this ball higher up the pitch.
An argument between players and referee here. Eventually, it is a free kick going the way of the Brisbane Raw.
You can see Lainey Fryer throwing her hands up in the air, not happy. They got the free kick in the end.
Queen's delivery headed away. Coming out to Kruger. Appeals for handball, not given. So Eka played out to Pringle. Pringle's delivery, Kulanu! And on the follow-up, Mariel Eka scores her first goal of the season. The Brazilian gives the Raw the lead, and for all of Sydney's dominance in the first half, it is the visitors who lead.
It was a bit of a scrappy ball in there, but Coolamu, what a little bit of fancy footwork there in the box, and Hecker there just to finish it off and put it into the back of the net.
Oh, just a reminder, Grace Kualama is 17 years of age. That is the audacity of youth, trying a back heel finish like that. Maria Leka, her first goal of the season, her 7th in the competition, in her 53rd appearance. Meanwhile, Sydney FC have made a change because Shay Connors has come onto the field of play, the American centre forward.
Leading the field, number 20, Princess Ibini.
Shay Connors hoping to add another dimension to Sydney's attack. The one goal that Shay Connors has scored in Sydney FC colours came in the biggest stage. That was against Melbourne City in the grand final. So she'll be hoping to score her 2nd here today. For all of Sydney's good work is on track as it stands to be all undone now. And that's really been the story of their season.
And you can see the Brisbane Roar have just come out and really trying to put pressure on Sydney FC, especially when they are trying to play out collectively the way they're pressing and the way they're trying to win balls in these dangerous areas here. And it's been working for them. You can hear Alex Smith on the sideline telling them to get forward, get the ball forward.
Was it the wind all along? Because in this second half, apart from an early flurry from Sydney, it's been a very different complexion of game.
I think the wind definitely does play a part, especially when you are trying to play out and get the ball on the deck. And you can see there's been times that Sydney FC have tried to play out and they've mistimed that pass or misjudged it. And Brisbane Roar have been there to be able to pounce on that and win the ball back.
So a couple of substitutions now. Grace Kualamu, who provided the final touch, leaving the field of play, the final touch before that goal. And the debutant Amali Kinsella coming off as well, to a lot of congratulations from the bench. Tanae Morris, one of the players coming on, as is Tamar Levin. So Tanae Morris, a 20-year-old from South Australia. She's played the last 3 games off the bench. She's a striker. She played at the last Under-20 Women's World Cup after being identified at a talent ID camp, playing NPL South Australia for Adelaide University. Hadn't had a great season for Adelaide University, but impressed in that game, scored a hat-trick, and that is what allowed or enabled her selection into the Young Matildas squad. And now signed for the Brisbane Roar, her first professional season this time out, gets her opportunity. Tamar Levin, the other substitution, 20 years of age. She is making her 10th appearance this season. Started the season starting every week, really, for Brisbane. Scored a couple of goals, just fallen out of favour in the last few weeks, really, since around the new year. But she's back on the pitch today, and plenty of talent in those boots. Here's Shay Connors trying to deliver a ball, but it'll instead comfortably find the gloves of Keely Richards. So those substitutions, Kath, with about 30 minutes or so of time to play if you include stoppages. What kind of energy do you think that'll inject into this game for Brisbane?
I think it gives Brisbane now another part to their game where they can continue to push on and press forward. And there's some good changes there from Alex Smith. You don't want to, go into a game and be a little bit stale. You want to change things up and see where you can add value to this second half. And I think these changes are 2 great changes for him.
Well, a yellow card here for Lainey Fryer, and that was hard to spot at first viewing, but it does look like a fairly clear foul, and you can understand why the yellow card was produced. Richards playing it out into midfield. Holman. Here comes Sydney, searching for that equaliser. And get an opportunity from a free kick here.
The other half here, just grab it onto Casper's
Well, we spoke earlier about free kicks from shooting range. This one's probably a little bit far back, so you'd imagine there'll be a set piece kind of set up from this situation.
You would think so. You'd think it's optimistic to try and score from this range, and especially against the wind here.
Taking short, Tobin will shoot. Nat Tobin! What a strike from Sydney FC's captain! Nat Tobin has produced something special here, and Sydney FC are back level.
She just made me look like an absolute fool, but what a great strike for Nat Tobin. But the touch forward there from Mackenzie Hawkesby, the way she's touched that forward allows Nat Tobin to now run up, get that run up against the ball, which gives her the opportunity to be able to strike that ball with the absolute force that she did and pinpointed that into the back of the net. Poor Keely Richards had no chance.
What a strike from a defender.
Look, to be able to hit that ball from a dead ball is very, very difficult. But the way that Mackenzie Hawkesby rolls that ball forward for Nat Tobin to actually get a run up to strike that ball, that's how you get your power into the shot. And she's done that fantastically well.
Well, that is how they drew it up at training, no doubt. And now it's Sydney on the charge. Shay Connors, an opportunity here across the face of goal. May well have gotten a touch off Richards, so Sydney will take the corner. And listen to this crowd now.
That's one thing that Sydney FC have definitely got behind them. It's always a great place for Sydney FC to play at Leichhardt Oval. They always get such a great crowd, and this is what they really need.
Dos Santos's corner towards the back post. It's met by a defensive header away. Tanae Morris will apply the pressure, but nice touch from Lemon. Another ball in for Sydney. The header just wide. Jordan Thompson had stayed forward after that corner. Couldn't quite direct it on target.
She had time and space there. She was completely unmarked. She could even have time to bring the ball down and actually get that strike away. And the Brisbane defence had no idea that Jordan Thompson was in that dangerous area.
To be fair to Jordan Thompson, she is a out-and-out centre-back. Nat Tobin has played a lot of her career as a defensive midfielder. That's probably where she picked up those skills of being able to fire a shot from that kind of distance. Talon Henniker advancing up that flank. Hawkesby's delivery. And Della Harp not able to clear her line, so Sydney another chance, but McQueen in the way of that run from Hawkesby. It's easy to forget now, but Nat Tobin almost went to Perth at the beginning of COVID. She had signed the contract, everything was good to go, but then because of the lockdowns and the shutdowns, her work circumstances changed, her life circumstances changed, so she didn't make that move. She came back to Sydney, wore the captain's armband, and of course, but for that ACL injury that she picked up last season, has been ever present since, and such a key component of a side that has been so dominant for so long. Talon Henniker's touch out in front of her, the ball back across Connors, not able to get contact. Dos Santos now. Caspers. Mackenzie Hawkesby couldn't get the contact. Tori Tumeth, this is relentless from Sydney. They've been given a second wind after that equaliser. Talon Henniker against Levin, does well. Tori Tumeth against Decker.
Things are definitely starting to get a bit fiery on this pitch.
This game is really opening up now. That's nice from Lainey Fryer. The ball played forward to Tanae Morris, bearing down on goal. Beth Mason-Jones is there. Jordan Thompson using all of her experience to deny the run of Morris. We are set for a cracking final 20 minutes of this game. And it was all Sydney. When Brisbane scored those 2 goals, gave themselves the lead. It was maybe a sense of deja vu among Sydney FC fans, but they've gotten the equaliser, and suddenly Sydney are rampant. Shay Connors on the ball now. Connors, ball played in behind, the cutback, Connors! Her first goal of the season! The American has come off the bench to regain Sydney's lead. Delight in the stands. Sydney FC have scored 3 for the first time this season.
Yeah, you can just see here Shay Connors, she's working really hard to win that ball back. She plays the ball into Caspers and continues her run here just for the nice, easy tap in. And you can see the excitement on her face to come off the bench and score this goal. Great goal there by Shay Connors.
She started the move, she finished it. And Sydney FC are delighted. It looked like all of that momentum had swung back to the Roar, and then Sydney have gotten it back and have regained the lead. Just a little delay in this restart now because Isabella Hoyos is struggling for Brisbane. She had to leave the field of play in their previous game against Western United with what looked to be an ankle injury. She missed out on Young Matilda's duty as a result and is now just getting back to her feet very, very gingerly, the 16-year-old. Meanwhile, Sydney FC go to the bench, get some instructions. Ante Juric is delighted. Players are delighted.
They are very happy, but there's still plenty of time left in this game. You can see the momentum's been swinging back and forth in this game. It's been an exciting one.
It's a big goal, of course, for Connors against her former club as well. She moved to Australia, to Brisbane, made her name in NPL Queensland. She's come back to haunt them.
Absolutely, and she hasn't been an out-and-out starter here for Sydney FC as well. So when you're coming off the bench, you want to really prove yourself to your coach, to want to make them look at you to start you the following week. So it's great to see her come on with all this energy.
Brisbane looking to equalise once more, but Abby Lemon not letting Pringle past. Pringle, Lemon, I'm sure someone could find a joke there. Ante Juric, what was going through his mind when Sydney FC had given up the lead, had given up their advantage, found themselves down? And now he'd be feeling a lot better about himself. Here come Brisbane. Pringle not able to cut the ball back. It'll go out for a Brisbane corner. Generally speaking, the target for corners for Brisbane's been Leah Varley. Varley out injured today, so they don't have that same kind of tall target, but they still have been quite effective from corners.
They sure have been. You've seen that they've used the short corner quite a lot as well, and here they've gone more direct.
The delivery, but Beth Mason-Jones, safe hands.
They chose to go more direct there by Lainey Fryer as well, and you know, when you don't have that clear target, sometimes a short corner is something that you might opt for.
Marieleka taken down and foul awarded by the referee. Lainey Fryer. Pringle can reel it in. Still Emily Pringle. And out for another corner. So now we have this period of the game where Sydney, even subconsciously, might think to themselves, we need to hold on to this lead, and the momentum shifts again.
Of course, when you get to this point of the game, it's all about game management as well, and depending on what point you are, you can see here's Brisbane Roar gone for the short corner again.
I'll have a second bite of the cherry. I mean, I guess it's the second best outcome if you win another corner.
You can see Dos Santos here ready to close it down.
Conventional delivery this time. Mason Jones spills it to Nay Morris. It comes out to her. The referee has ruled that there was a foul on Mason Jones, so everything else that happened after that immaterial.
It looks like Mason Jones just has fallen awkwardly there.
If it wasn't a foul on Mason Jones, was that a handball for Shay Connors? There's ifs and buts because play had already stopped, the foul had already been committed, but even if it wasn't, she's done herself a mischief there by putting her arm in the air like that.
She sure has. You can see here, Mason Jones comes out for that ball, and you don't stop playing until that whistle's blown, and I think it was a tough one there for Shay Connors, but lucky enough for Sydney FC, the foul was called their way and play can get underway again.
I think on that replay, it did come off her body first and then onto her arm, so I don't think it would have been called, but she's not a defender, she's a striker. You have to keep your arms down when you're defending in the box. All's well ends well for Sydney. Levin. Back to Richards. Lenny Fryer's first touch just took the ball a little bit away from her. Have a second opportunity, but Holman again won the header, although it's come out to Kruger, who's in space here, Zara Kruger. So Namor is making the run ahead. Kruger eventually taken out of play, although Eka did really well to win the rebound. To Marlevin. Inside to Woods. Kruger. It's the referee, so it'll have to be a drop ball restart. And will it go to Brisbane? This is an interesting call.
It's always a tough one when the referee gets involved in that play. She has dropped it to Brisbane Roar.
So Woods, the ball out wide. Pringle. Emily Pringle looking to cut it in from the byline. It's blocked away again for another corner. Or in fact, it's gone out for a goal kick. So Sydney able to build up from the back. Woods. Eka. Putting her arms out as if to say, where are my options? Eventually she just plays it off to Santos and out for a throw. Levin stolen a few metres with that throw. Morris against Tumeth. Sorry, Tumeth showing her strength there. Woods. Levin. It's Marlevin's delivery towards the back post, headed away by Lemon. Emily Pringle was arriving, and she'll see the ball out this time for a corner.
Today's crowd attendance is 1,441. On behalf of Sydney FC, we thank you for attending.
Lainey Fryer will look to take this corner quickly. Conventional delivery. Mason Jones is there again. Brisbane are there as well. The turn, the shot blocked. And now Woods not able to get it away. Sydney FC shirts swarming and able to prevent the shot.
You can see this corner, it's just floating in the air there, and Mason Jones just doesn't have that contact with the ball, and she keeps herself down on the ground, and Brisbane Roar just couldn't take the opportunity to put it into the back of the net.
A fascinating substitution here. Danelle Tan, the Singapore international, coming on. She's replacing Isabella Hoyos. Tan is 20 years of age. She was previously playing in Germany for Borussia Dortmund in the 4th tier of German football, also for the London Bees in England. She thought she scored the winner for the Roar last week in stoppage time. But it was ruled back for offside, so she has hit the back of the net in this competition, knows what that feels like. But it didn't count then. She'll be hoping for one that counts this time. The delay here, Beth Mason-Jones is a bit ginger in Sydney's goal. The goalkeeper on the bench is Jasmine Black, so Talia Franco and also Brie Edwards, who have previously played for Sydney this season, not on the bench. But Beth Mason-Jones should be able to continue. The thumbs up was given to the bench by the physio. The Roar took the opportunity to have a bit of a team talk, perhaps one last huddle. And they'll have 10 or so minutes to get themselves a point out of this one.
Absolutely. And I just want to make mention, it's great to see the legend Matilda, Kate McShay, also known as Shorty for many years in the Matildas setup, to be back working with the Brisbane Roar. I think it's really important to get former players, former Matildas involved within the A-Leagues, especially as a mentor. It's always great for the young players to have somebody that they can talk to and bounce ideas off. But to see someone like Kate McShay that spent many years with the Matildas to be in and around the Brisbane Roar team, I think it's fantastic to see.
Another substitution here for Sydney. Millie Farrow making her way on the pitch. She replaces Kaylee Talon-Henniker. A good shift from Talon-Henniker, but Millie Farrow, the 28-year-old English woman who is returning from injury today. It's been a bit of an injury hit campaign for Farrow. When she's been on the pitch, though, she's looked good. And she'll be hoping to make her mark right now. This free kick played forward. Cotters trying to turn away from Pringle. Now playing forward once more. Caspers. Hawksby. That was a clever idea, but Brisbane able to get it away only as far as Holman. And this spell of possession will suit Sydney just fine. Shumath plays it into Wecker. And out for a Brisbane throw. So just as Sydney were looking very, very comfortable on the ball, they've given it away there.
Shumath has done well, though. She's lost possession of the ball there, and then she's worked hard to try and win that tackle back. But it's important here for Sydney FC. They're in control of this game here at 3-2 up. But it's important the game management of what they do in these next 10 or so minutes to finish off this game.
Well, that's one of the things that coaches say with Shumath there, that even if you make a mistake or you lose the ball, you always want to be the first player to come and get it.
Absolutely, you're teaching players that from a young age. As soon as you lose possession of the ball.
The ball played forward into the path of Caspers. Maddie Caspers around the keeper. Can she convert here? She's driven too far wide. And she's not able to get the defining touch.
The Brisbane Roar defence just caught in no man's land there. Maddie Caspers, a massive opportunity here. She tries to go around Keely Richards, but her touch is a little bit heavy there, and a massive missed opportunity.
Caspers, only 17 years of age. Sister Holly scored the winner on Friday night for the Wanderers against the Central Coast Mariners. There was a time last season where whenever one sister would score, the other one seemed to, for the crosstown rivals. It wasn't quite matched up this time around. McQueen able to get in there for Brisbane and play it high. It's Tanae Morris and Danelle Tan, the two players up top here for Brisbane. Morris will take the throw quickly. Tan won the header. It's all about the defence here for Sydney. Of course, if they can get another, that will all but seal the 3 points for them. They'll still be on the bottom of the ladder, even with 3 points. But it will be a confidence booster as we head into the latter stages of the season. It will be only their 3rd win of the whole campaign if they're able to pull it off. And for Brisbane, well, while they won't slide out of the 6, it's red alert time if they're not able to score the equaliser here. And even so, it probably is still red alert time for Brisbane.
Absolutely, and they've got to really throw everything at this game. It's whether you lose 3-2 or whether you lose 4-2, you've got to give everything to these last 5 minutes of this match and throw everything behind it and push people forward. Whatever you need to do to get this goal, this equaliser.
Of course, Brisbane without Tamika Yallop today, their captain. Yallop not deemed able to play after arriving back in the country only yesterday. Lainey Fryer was able to play and did start. Scored a goal. But Brisbane perhaps lacking that leadership that Yallop provides today.
For sure, we know what a key part of this Brisbane Roar team Tamika Yallop is, and especially in that middle of the park, she's one of the players that really pulls the strings and, you know, helps move these players around and guides them on the pitch.
Good touch from Levin, who just tried to do a bit too much in the end. Eka, Kruger. Tempted 1-2. Might fall kindly for Brisbane here. Eka able to get a boot in. As it stands, Shay Connors may have scored the winner for Sydney FC. But Brisbane will keep pushing to ensure that that is not the case. Couple of minutes of regulation time remaining. There'll be some stoppages. Pringle off and running. Still Pringle. It's beaten Holman. We've got Tanae Morris on her outside, which is where she'll go. Morris's ball. Deals from everyone, but straight into the gloves of Beth Mason-Jones. Now, the player we haven't seen today, Kath, Momo Hayashi, named on the bench for the Roar, presumably fit to play, and presumably fit to play more than 5 minutes, but we haven't seen her.
That's an interesting one, Taryn, to see her be put on the team sheet, but we haven't seen her at this point in the game is a very interesting one, whether Brisbane Roar were touch and go, whether to play her or not, or whether it was they needed to risk it. So it's a very interesting situation with Momo Hayashi.
Well, maybe the thought process was we're behind, we need to throw strikers on. That was when Danelle Tan came on. And that was their 3rd substitution window as well. So Hayashi not on the pitch.
Absolutely, but we also know that Hayashi's a set-piece specialist as well, and we know that she can also score goals, even though she is a midfielder. But interesting decision for Alex Smith, but I'm sure it's one that he had to make.
So 6 minutes of stoppage time here for Brisbane to find this equaliser if they can. And imagine they'll throw everything at this.
6 minutes, additional time.
Della Harp's ball. Looking for the run of Morris. Tanae Morris does manage to keep it in and wins her side a corner. So industrious work from the substitute there.
Yeah, Morris has done really well here to try and keep this ball in and get her team a corner. This is where Brisbane Roar have to throw everything at it in these dying last minutes.
Corner delivered. Tangle of bodies. Mason-Jones on the deck. Morris trying to make it happen. Kruger takes a touch. And Woods eventually firing a shot. Kruger probably just had to unleash there.
Great ball in there from Lainey Fryer. Mason Jones, again, just caught up around all those players in the box and hasn't been able to really dominate herself in the air there to win that ball. And another missed opportunity there from Brisbane Roar. There's just so many numbers in the box. Couldn't get a shot off. But some great numbers in there for Brisbane Roar.
Mason Jones just struggling a little bit here. She has been struggling just for the last 10 minutes or so.
You can see there.
It's Morris. It's a name, Morris. Well, went for the spectacular, or was caught between two minds as to whether to shoot or to cross, and in the end she's just gifted possession back to Sydney.
She was. Lainey Fry just lays it off there for her. She just wasn't in the right opportunity, in the right position to actually strike the ball there. But you can see here the football smarts of Nat Tobin getting on this ball, knowing that she can really clear this ball out of danger for Sydney FC in these last few minutes.
Well, we've seen how hard she can hit the ball already in this game with that goal. Woods. Out wide to Pringle. Emily Pringle cutting inside. Will look to centre the ball. Morris can't get the shot away. Well, they are throwing waves at this Sydney FC defence, but nothing clear-cut so far. Last chance saloon here. We're in the territory of maybe the keeper coming up for set pieces if we have any more. 3 minutes of stoppage time remaining here for Brisbane. They had their first draw of the season against Western United. They're looking for their second now, if they can find this equaliser. But Sydney still pushing forward themselves. Oh, dangerous ball played out, and Caspers has an opportunity to make it four, but puts it wide. Maddie Caspers not able to put the finishing touches on the game for Sydney. And that will be her final involvement in the game, because Caspers is being replaced by Lucy Johnson. So the Tasmanian is the player being tasked with helping Sydney see out this game. Sure, it's partly a bit of gamesmanship from Ante Juric, partly a bit of time wasting, but also Johnson, a more experienced head in midfield, maybe to help guide Sydney to the finish line.
Oh, it's definitely a tactical a substitution where you're looking to slow the game down and try and chew up some minutes on the clock, and they're all the extra 1%ers that Sydney FC need behind them at the moment.
Great to see the Cove growing throughout the game as well. I think some people have been drawn to the drums and the singing. It's always a lot more fun when your side is winning to be in that active support area. They've got a minute and a half here to hold on. Keely Richards will have to take this goal kick quickly. This might be the last chance for an attack here for Brisbane. What can they do? Can they find a way through? Well, it's come out to Shay Connors instead. Just wasn't able to control it. Millie Farrow was making the run, so Richards, the long throw. And again, Sydney shirts just there in numbers. They've done so well today, Sydney, and you can't say that they haven't deserved, as it stands, this scoreline. They've been the better side, they've been the dominant side. Perhaps that little 10-15 minutes of Brisbane on top was a bit of a flash in the pan. Here's Connors. Shay Connors all on her own, playing it into Dos Santos. Indy Dos Santos thought about shooting, does this time into the breadbasket of Richards. Keely Richards just got to release quickly, but here's another look at that chance.
Great run there from Shay Connors, and she plays the ball in for Dos Santos. She tries a little spin turn there, but just a little bit off balance and couldn't get that power behind the strike.
Marieleka loses out to Hawkesby, who again just launches it forward. We are at the mercy of the referee here. Brisbane Roar fans hoping for some leniency. The whistle is at the lips. Will there be time for one more attack? There won't. Sydney FC have won their 3rd game of the season. A game that went back and forth, a game full of drama. Mackenzie Hawkesby scored the opening goal in the first half. Shay Connors scored the winner against her former side, the Roar. Natalie Tobin with a wonderful strike as well. Lainey Fryer on the score sheet for Brisbane, as was Mario Lecker. But ultimately, Sydney FC deserved winners at home and a lot to think about for the Roar. Full time, it is Sydney FC 3, Brisbane Roar 2. So the highlights of this game, and what a thriller we had in front of us this afternoon.
We sure did, and we've seen some fantastic goals, especially this one here from Mackenzie Hawkesby. A clinical finish there, but what a beautiful pass it was from Holman. Again here you can see Holman picks up the